From Faith in Movies to the Dove Awards airing right here on JUCE TV, we're taking a look back at some of our top stories and moments of 2014.
Plus tips for students to start your new year off right, and Carolyn Luss gives her top 5 moments in music, so don't go anywhere.
Let's count down to midnight, starting right now. Hey guys, I'm Seshmi Robertson.
And I'm Bianca Peters, and we're both from Top 3.
Yes, we are. And we're so excited to spend the next half hour with you looking back at some of the more memorable moments of this year. Last year, it was a new pope, the Super Bowl blackout, huge college football upsets. I'm sure you were in tune with that. But this year is a whole different story.
That's right, Seshmi. While there were many great moments this year, 2014 also had some more serious side, and we'll get into that in just a bit. But this year was also a big year for us here at JUCE TV.
It sure was. And you know what else was this year, Bianca? This year was the year of the Faith movie. Watch this.
All this stuff is temporary. Money, success, even life is temporary. Jesus, that's eternal.
And that's it?
That's it.
2014 was without a doubt an exceptional year for faith in entertainment. Coming off the success of the Bible TV series in 2013, this year was a year where box office giants led the exciting trend.
We knew we'd put it in a couple of theaters, but to be in 3,000 theaters with 20th Century Fox, an epic, one of the most famous movie studios in the history of the business, is releasing Son of God, and well, we're so grateful.
Son of God started out the year, and the number of movies centering around God, His Son, biblical stories, and even real-life miracles continued to grow.
You saw my grandfather? Where did you see him?
In heaven.
From Noah and Heaven is for Real to Mom's Night Out and the Christmas Day release of Unbroken, audiences had a lot to choose from this year. Each film brought in big numbers, with Son of God and Colton Burpo's real-life story making just under $170 million combined worldwide. But the big surprise was God's Not Dead, which cost just $2 million to make, but raked in over $60 million in theaters.
God's not dead, he's surely alive.
The real hope for these movies, though, was far greater than selling tickets. It was the messages of faith and hope these films provided.
I hope a lot of people find healing, because I think a lot of broken parts are going to be addressed by what Colton shares in this film.
After all that experience, my father was the most happy, joyous person I've ever known in my life. He just found beauty in everything.
That was so good. Bianca, what a great year it was this year for faith movies. Which one was your favorite?
I'm going to have to go with Noah.
Good one.
Yes,
yeah.
The acting, the everything, those alien giants, whatever they were called. Yeah, we'll have to go with that. What about yours?
Yeah, mine actually, Noah was very close to the top for mine as well, because I know that people were a little indifferent on that, but I just thought it was so well done, and which really drew people in, and I thought in Noah you really got to see the human side of that story. That was not a tough decision for Noah to do. Also, Unbroken just came out Christmas Day. I hope you've seen it. Such a great story, Louis Zamperini and Faith.
Yet.
It's really good.
But the guy's a hottie in there, so
I
will
see
that.
You gotta go. Well, you know what, Bianca, with so many faith messages in films this year, it's so important for us as Christians to support these movies. And earlier this year, at the Variety Magazine Faith and Family Entertainment Summit, Bishop T.D. Jakes and Sony VP Devon Franklin talked about the groundbreaking year of faith in Hollywood.
Certainly, everything aligning this year to make such a strong statement that people want more content that is uplifting and inspiring is great. And I think that everyone in the industry is taking notice. But what that means and where we go from here, we're all going to have to, continue to, again, stay passionate and stay authentic about the material we champion.
Using the arts to explore things that we have been preaching for years could be the key to revival for the second half of this century. And so I think it's very important for us to begin to think in becoming more creative in how we share the gospel. Jesus said go into all the world, but he didn't say we had to go by camel.
Okay, so you hear that, Bianca? That camel that you have in the backyard, you can go ahead, take him back. You don't have to do it by
I
camel.
can't. It was on final sale, Seshmi. I cannot take that back. But coming up next, we're getting into the first half of our 10 most memorable stories of the year. We'll get into a few social issues that came up this year, plus our music guru, Carolyn Luss, dishes on what artists had the best year in 2014. And my family's on that list, right?
I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned to find out. We'll be back, guys, right after this. They may be.
They better be.
Welcome back to our Countdown to Midnight, where we're taking a look back over the year at a few things that caught and kept our attention this year. Brittany Gonzalez, the lovely and the wonderful Brittany, is joining us, my partner in sequence here.
Sequence for the new year.
Looking beautiful. Glad to have Brittany back with us, right? We're glad to see you.
Great to see you guys.
Starting off our top 10 memorable stories this year, guys. There were several incidents and issues this year that had people talking and looking at culture and our world as a whole. Starting with a story that was a shock for many of us with Robin Williams and his death in August this year. I know that was just a shock for, the world. No one expected that. He was 63 years old. Brittany, what were your thoughts on that, when that happened?
Well, I was devastated, I think, as most of us were. So talented, so gifted. But the thing that was the most shocking wasn't his death, but the way he died. The fact that he chose to take his own life was, I think, the most devastating. Because who would have seen that coming,
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. No one saw that coming, especially the characters that he chose to portray over and over again were characters that were happy, brought hope, and it was this whole, you can laugh your way through life even though you're going through some difficult circumstances. Yeah. But he, I don't think he kind of was drinking the juice he was giving out to other people because, look at how he did end his life, so it was...
Yeah, and I think that just goes to show we just never know what's going on in people's lives and what they're going through.
Our number 9 pick is Malaysia Airlines and the March 8th disappearance of Flight 370, which we are no closer to finding an answer to. And this is one that still baffles my mind. Yeah. It has turned us into conspiracy theorists, afraid to fly. Yes. And yeah, pretty much I'm not trying to go to Malaysia, but
how does so much.
Exactly. It was so weird. And I remember we were together, it was you, myself, and Taylor. We were in San Diego when this happened, and we were watching the news, and it was just so strange. And we thought, oh, okay, they'll find it, have some kind of answers later today. The next day went on, and the next day went on, and we were just baffled.
And it turned into months.
Months now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other incident, in Ukraine where their, plane and stuff was shot down, they had a really great safety record. So this was just like an anomaly for something like this to happen.
I can imagine how it must be for the families.
Yeah.
That still have no answers.
Well, exactly. That's I'm not, in most things, I'm not a big conspiracy person, but for this, because I want closure. I need closure. I'm like, what happened to both of them? Like, what's going on? Yeah.
Well, no matter where you stand on the issues, it seemed as if race relations in America were a big topic this year, starting with the comments from former Clippers owner Donald Sterling. And did you guys heard about that? I'm sure, with his comments and that he said, to the Scaviano. It was great to see the NBA and the owners and stuff, rally around, justice and stuff being served there. And then, of course, we saw this just extended in Ferguson and then in New York with Eric Garner. A lot of discussions about race and stuff this year.
A ton. At the end of the day, in so many other issues, you just have to pray. Because, and the one thing is, it's kind of unfortunate. It's almost kind of a parallel between right now, like the police officers and Christians. It's unfortunate that you have a group of people being judged based on a few that maybe are abusing their power a little bit. You can't judge a whole group. It's still, they're in place for a reason. So
And
it's
you know
just
what I
tough.
think, and based kind of off what you said also, I saw a picture online and it was a retired officer and he had a sign and it said, police try love.
Yeah, exactly.
And I tweeted that out and got like so many retweets and favorites because that's what resonates with people. No matter what side you're on, no matter, who you may think is wrong or right, love is just what always works. And that's why, Jesus just has loved us so much and, that's made us all right through his love.
Yeah.
Well, at number 7 is a story we certainly could not ignore this year, especially as Christians, but this year was the year that many people became aware of ISIS, also known as the Islamic State.
I mean, just reading, you know, and seeing when this, you know, kind of started and we started to really hear about ISIS, it really, you know, like bothered me, you know, in my heart, you know, what was going on, and then seeing all the Christians and stuff that were persecuted and beheaded, and it's just, it's so important for us, I think, you know, seeing stories like this to be aware of what's going on in the world.
It's true, and I saw a video of, you know, a helicopter flying over, just trying to drop off some supplies, and people just rushing the helicopter. Oh my gosh, it just really, it just breaks your heart. And I think, you know, we're so blessed to be in America because we're not so far removed as we think, but we are still kind of in our protective bubble where it's the best country still in the world. So but I mean, we can't forget what's going on, you know, in other places in the world, and we definitely just need to continue to pray for our brothers and sisters in Christ.
Yeah, for sure. Makes you appreciate our faith compared to other people that claim this faith.
Exactly.
And what they do in the name of this faith, and what we really, you know, stand for and what we're called to do as Christians. So yeah, we definitely do need to pray for those people that are being persecuted in the Middle East, and as well as here, everywhere in the world, Australia, doesn't matter. So I mean, these people that are doing these acts in the name of, you know, whoever they're following in ISIS, it's very obviously disappointing. And number 6 is the Ebola outbreak this year, a story that dominated the headlines here in the United States. Now, I know that this was a big deal when we had just gone to Dallas. How has this affected your guys' flying situations? Because I know we all, you know, fly frequently.
Pretty frequently.
Yeah, I mean, you've had actual stories, you know, because you were in both the places.
I was in both places that Ebola was, so I was like, God, what's going on? In the second place, I was in Texas and I got really sick. And it was very intense, and it makes you very uncomfortable because when I went to fly home, anyone that was even had a cough, they kind of pulled off to the side and were talking to them. Before you got on the plane, they were checking everybody's IDs again to make sure, you know, where were you coming from, where were you originally from.
Well, you know, and I think that's, you know, there's so many different images and stories and stuff in media, and I think that's why, you know, JUCE TV and, you know, networks and stuff like ours are so important, that, you know, we can stay centered on Christ and knowing that amidst all of these different things that we, you know, truly have no reason to be fearful.
And you can have peace.
Right, exactly. Yep, with him.
Yeah, well, those are certainly a few stories we hope to leave in 2014. And stay tuned, because we'll be looking at the lighter side of this year in just a little bit. And a major year we had here at JUCE TV.
Well, it was a big year this year in music as well. And if you're watching JUCE regularly, you know that Caroline Lusk is on top of it all. Here's Caroline with her top 5 artists of 2014.
I have my top 5 favorite moments. I couldn't rank them because they were all just too wonderful for me to actually pick among those 5. But one of those was Hillsong. Such a resurgence out of that church. And I say resurgence with a bit of hesitation because it's not like they've gone anywhere. For years, almost 20 years, they have been putting out worship music, really revolutionizing the culture of worship for years and years, and they've continually been innovative and unafraid to take risks, to take chances, and be creative, and that has just blossomed for them all over the world. And just to see them come and the wins that they took home at this year's Dove Awards. Hillsong, amazing year in 2014, and I expect more to come in 2015. My second favorite, again, no particular order, for King and Country. Just love these guys. They were number 1 when they came out of iTunes, ahead of Tim McGraw for at least a little bit. So congrats on that. But they had just an amazing year. It was so cool to see these brothers come back with their sophomore record, which is usually a terrifying record for artists. That sophomore slump did not affect them at all. Probably one of the greatest records we've seen in this industry in a while. Very innovative. And these guys, again, they're not afraid to take risks. So huge year for them. Also, a great moment at the Dove Awards was when Ellie Holcomb won New Artist of the Year. But another moment happened with her earlier in this year. If you don't know, she's the daughter of Brown Bannister. Brown Bannister was the producer who kind of discovered and put Amy Grant on the map. Earlier this year, Ellie and Amy got to sing a duet in tribute to Ellie's dad, to Brown Bannister, as he was inducted into the GMA Hall of Fame. It was a beautiful moment. It was very touching and very exciting to see the rest of Ellie's year unfold as it did. And picking up on that, another one of my favorite moments, more inductees, Take 6 and Bill Gaither, both inducted into the GMA Hall of Fame. This is the first time Take 6 had been on a stage together in years, like years. So it was an incredible moment for them. And then my last favorite moment of the year, Family Force 5. Love these guys. If you've never been to a Christmas party with them, if you can, I would go. Their outfits are just as exciting there as they are on stage. But huge year. They came out with a brand new album, Time Stands Still. Berserk, BZRK, their video was #1 at MTV.com for a while. That's a phenomenal feat. So huge year for these guys. It's going to be a massive year in 2015. We're so excited and wishing you a very happy new year. I'll see you in 2015.
Well, as you may know, we also started a new segment here on JUCE this year called College Life 101, where Donna Clayton explores different aspects of student life. So we couldn't get ready for the new year without a few tips for students. Donna, we're glad to have you on the show, and you've been really giving students, you know, the whole law of like, you know, going through college and living, you know, the good life. What do you have for students going into the new year?
Well, we really want students to make the most out of their college experience, you know, so we put together a little list to help them get ready for the new year. So #1, get a specific number of hours of sleep per night. Now we know
that's important.
That's so difficult for students to do, but it's so important to really take care of your body first, because then everything else will fall into place the way it should. So the recommended amount for each adult is 8 hours per sleep per night. Okay, #2, if you learned anything from watching College Life 101 is how important it is to eat healthy at each meal.
Yeah.
So this year, make it a priority to maybe switch out your soft drink for some water, or maybe up your vegetable intake, whatever it is. How do you guys feel about that? Do you struggle with that? I know you do, Bianca.
It's hard, but it's like you constantly, you know, got to remind yourself, okay, let me get more vegetables. That's the one that I'm always like, okay, I need more vegetables. I didn't really eat any this week. Let me, you know, even if it's like a quick side, that's important.
Yeah, whatever it is, just setting goals to get there.
Yeah.
And then with that being said, of course, there's always exercise. Exercise is so important. So what we're recommending students to do is just get at least 30 minutes 3 times per week.
That's good.
And #4, I so wish I would have followed this in college. Finish your papers 1 day in advance. Yes, I'm talking to all the procrastinators out there. She's looking at me like I'm crazy.
Like, what day in advance? How do I do that?
Yeah. You know what? I just can think of all the stress I would have saved myself if I would have just stuck to that rule. That would have been so much less stressful, don't you think?
That's a good idea. Guys, you might want to follow that one.
Okay, #5, I have making a budget. Now we know college life is so hard. I mean, everyone's practically broke, right?
Yeah.
But how much easier is it if you just stick to the budget? You know, write down how much income you have coming in, put your bills on a spreadsheet, and just stick to it every week.
Yeah.
Donna, amazing tips. Thanks so much. But if I had to give one more tip, it would be become friends with your professors. Go to their office hours, go after class, go talk to them about their cat, your grades.
Got it down.
Well, thank you. I lived by that rule in college.
Nice.
Well, guys, I would say that this year has been a pretty amazing year at JUCE, right?
Yes,
Yes,
it has.
definitely.
And for starters, this time last year, we were getting ready to flip the switch from JC TV to JUCE TV. Here's a look at new things that have happened since then. Well, you guys, I want to wish you a very happy new year, and I hope that you were able to catch our New Year's Eve special. In case you didn't, we are now officially JUCE TV.
Hey everybody, guess what? Daisha's back.
What happens in New Year's? You make goals, you make objectives, you make resolutions to do things or not do things.
And you stick with them for at least a week.
It's Son of God Week on JUCE TV.
The series turning into a movie solely on the life of Christ. When did that idea kind of pop up?
Morocco, right?
Yeah, Morocco.
Suddenly given the opportunity to approach the life of one of these incredible figures from the Bible and, you know, from world history.
He says, I value you so much that I'm going to bankrupt heaven and send the most precious thing that I have, my son.
Hi, we're Fireflight.
We are in the greatest city, folks, of the history of humanity. It is Miami, Florida.
Right. There you have it.
What's going on, guys? For the past 2 weeks, we've been coming to you from the Harvest Crusade, and we have so much stuff in store for you today. We're so excited to be here. This is the 25th year.
I want us to lean in today. I want us to shout with the preacher. I want us to agree with him. Come on, let's put our hands together. Let's welcome Pastor Jensen Franklin.
I am here with Scott McGaugh. He is the founding marketing director for this huge ship you see behind us. I think I could do it.
Sure. Don't break
Maybe
it.
not.
Mayday, mayday. I tie mine like Tupac style, so I don't get in my hair. Then I pop it off and turn around.
Should I try it?
I would do it that way.
Let's try it.
Hey everybody, I'm Caroline Lusk and I'm coming to you at the Hard Rock Cafe here in Nashville, Tennessee. The riverfront is right over there, Broadway is right behind me, including some pretty killer karaoke, which is very appropriate because we're here for the Winter Jam launch event. About a Mile is here with us because y'all are about to go on Winter Jam.
Hi everyone, and you are joining us at the GMA Dove Awards, the 45th annual GMA Dove Awards here at Lipscomb University at Allen Arena. You're hosting tonight. Do you get nervous for something? This is different than music, but you guys it's all family here.
The only thing that makes me nervous is Bart himself. So I'm not nervous. I know I'll do fine, but I don't know what Bart's gonna do.
I'm a little nervous because I mean we'll see what happens.
He said the exact same thing.
We asked him if he was nervous. He said, "I'm nervous about standing next to Bart."
No, whatever. I'm nervous because he's gonna end up the cool guy. I'm gonna be the idiot between the two.
Now I know all of you guys have some form of social media and we want to connect with you, so go ahead, upload your selfies because you and me both know we did not wake up like this. But please use the hashtag Dove Awards so I can like it.
Spin,
Oh
spin,
my
spin,
God.
spin. The guys are in their location. Where is it?
Oh, there it goes. There. I found it. Once I get it, you put it.
She's holding it. It's in here.
Oh my God.
Well, guys, as mentioned at the beginning of the show, today will be my very last show here on JUCE TV. And they're coming to tears. They're coming to tears. I always cry.
Oh,
DJ Drew. Taylor, we
Oh my
love
gosh.
you,
I
and
love
we
you guys
are like
too.
so excited for you, and you've been such a blessing to all of us.
We love
Thank
you
so much
too.
to JUCE, to everybody, the Crouch family. I mean, everybody. I'm so thankful to have been here. Oh my goodness, what a fun year it was this year. We did a lot of stuff this year. Bianca, what was your most favorite interview out of the year?
Oh, definitely Brandon Chase from The Voice.
You liked him because he serenaded you.
Of course, of course. And what about yours? What was your favorite?
You know what? I loved our Sarah Jakes interview. That was when Taylor was filling in for Top 3. We missed you that day. But then also the Doves. You know,
Doves
we had
were amazing.
Lecrae and Carrie Job and Colton Dixon and Tadashi and all the.
We got a show to film here, so.
So good. It was okay. All right. Well, here's why these two interviews were our favorites, and we'll see you guys right after the break.
You know, we got to get one thing clear. So you're from Arlington.
Arlington,
and,
Texas.
If you would call yourself a true Texan, you have to be a Cowboys fan, right?
Absolutely.
Oh, see,
Win
there
or
you
lose.
go.
Yeah, win or lose, you gotta
See,
support.
That's the true
Yeah.
thing. Win
or lose.
Talk to us a little bit about how that process was for you getting over that shame and that guilt, because that's something that just can plague people literally for years.
Well, I realized there was nothing I could do to change my past. Like, there's nothing I can do about it. Like, all I have is this moment, and do I want to give this moment to something that is already past, or do I want to look into the future and really give it to hope?
All right, guys, we are getting closer to midnight, a little closer to 2015, and we've got Brittany back with us. So thank you guys so much for sticking around for our countdown to midnight as we bring in the new year. We've made it to our top 5 most interesting stories of the year. This half undoubtedly will be a little lighter for sure. So why don't I just hand it over to our sportswoman over here, Bianca, to kick us off at number 5.
Number 5 is a story I stayed glued to the TV for and made Seshmi suffer with me to watch hours and hours of TV in Miami. This was the World Cup. So we're talking about, you know, a couple weeks where we went crazy as fans.
Non-stop.
Yes,
you guys,
non-stop. Which was amazing, But Germany took the World Cup this year. Germany has been on fire, and they've been on fire for the past, you know, since the World Cup started. They have been a team to defeat
She'll go on and on.
Yeah, I know.
You see her passion.
And I don't even like soccer. I really don't even like soccer.
You would not know that. Well, you know, if you guys are not tired of songs from Disney's Frozen by now, you're probably maybe 7 years old or younger. Disney's Frozen took over all things animation this year, and the movie didn't even come
come out this year. Did you guys even know that the movie came out in 2013?
I refuse to watch this movie.
I tried.
They not only were huge, of course, animation, but they got 2 Academy Awards and 2 Golden Globes. Everyone knows Frozen. We had the dad dudes on, they did their songs.
I tried to watch it twice and I fell asleep both times.
What?
Maybe, I don't know, I couldn't get into it. But I will say, I have heard the song millions of times.
And you know to let it go.
I know to let it go. I think it's time we all let it go.
I'm
ready for the next big Disney hit.
Let it go.
And we're going to go to the next one.
LeBron James and his slightly less dramatic return home to Cleveland.
Yeah.
And you know what, Seshmi, I know Seshmi is not the biggest fan of the Heat.
Oh, of course not.
But we do have to talk about his return to Cleveland. And a lot of people did not support it, but I do agree with him in his stance that he is still in his prime as a player, and he wants to go back and bring a championship back to Cleveland, which I admire.
Yeah.
But maybe leaving the Cleveland the first time wasn't so
I think
great.
it's kind of full circle. Now I think this is the final step of his image being restored. A lot of people got over it by now.
They did.
Except for maybe Cleveland. And now he's back.
Yeah.
He got what he wanted. They kind of have what they wanted. I mean, you can't undo the past, but I mean, maybe they'll get a championship, and in the end, everyone will win.
Right,
But
and that's what he's on the way for.
Kobe Bryant.
Oh gosh.
Bianca.
Okay,
Let's just be
moving
real.
on because it's all about the Clippers. Aside from LeBron, it was a different type of competition that we saw a lot of this year. The ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Oh my gosh, that just took over Instagram. It was so interesting.
everywhere.
It was to see just people really get engaged and stuff with this movement. Everyone from Oprah and Donald and his toupee didn't fall off. It was really good.
Great that they raised so much money. I was more just surprised as who got involved, like Donatella Versace and other people that I was like, really?
Okay. And they raised over $115 million, and that money is already going to patients
Which
and
is
stuff with
great.
ALS,
That's
which
a
is
great
wonderful.
thing.
I know both of you must have gotten put up for the challenge. Did you guys accept it or no?
I did one.
That means
I
it's a
hate
no.
to say it, but
I donated.
We were out of town. It was a busy, summer for us.
That means a
All right,
no.
finally on our countdown, leaving all of our top 10 on a high note. The most interesting story to us, this year were 2 artists who've had an outstanding year this year, and that, of course, goes to Lecrae and Hillsong. Oh my gosh, Hillsong, they're coming out with the movie. They were nominated for, I think, 5 Dove Awards. They won all of them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Lecrae, the whole Christian community supported him when he was on Jimmy Fallon. Just great years. His #1 album, Anomaly, went #1 on the Billboard. You a big Lecrae fan?
You know what? I know he's been around for a while. Always been a fan, but this last album,
it's
got
really
me.
good.
Loved
it's
it.
really
Absolutely
good.
loved it.
And I know you talk about how the Christian community backed him when he was on Jimmy Fallon, but I mean, this guy is bringing people that are not Christian and bringing them into this whole different world of what Christian music is like, because it's not the cookie cutter Christian music that we're used to, which I definitely praise him for doing amazing
he
things.
doesn't even label himself as a Christian rapper. He says he's just a rapper, and that's it's good music.
I think that's amazing. I mean, it's amazing what he's doing. But if you missed Lecrae on Jimmy Fallon, check out this quick clip.
Little homies in the hood with duct tape, and everybody watching thinking that you made it. The truth is, for a few designer labels and a little bit of paper, now you 12 years slaving. Hey, but you ain't Lapita, so why you beat up and put the people to lean on the double cup in a seizure?
Okay, time for our resolutions. Brittany?
Resolutions. So I hate calling them resolutions because I feel like we were talking about this earlier. It's a lot of pressure. I feel like I have to fulfill this thing that I said I was going to do. One day I wasn't, the next day I am. So #1, stay off my phone. I'm on it too much. So I want to try to give myself more of a time limit during the day. And then second one, just to go with the flow. Trust God more, not trust in myself. So
definitely bettering my relationships, bettering myself spiritually, mentally, physically, of course, just keeping it up.
Okay, Bianca, what is your resolution for 2015?
To go on a date.
To go on a date. Oh, that's what she needs. To go on a date. All right, and my resolution, I'm going to say just to have a little more grace with myself. God gives us so much grace to us. It's good to have grace for ourselves,
Definitely.
All right, ladies, I love you guys, and we love you guys, the viewers. Thank you for watching, and we can't wait to see you in 2015. Bye.